Welcome to the Englishstorywell channel, your ultimate destination for captivating stories that enhance your English learning journey. Here, we believe that stories are not just a form of entertainment, but a powerful tool to improve your language skills. Let's go to started.
Sarah had always dreamed of visiting New York City. She loved learning English and knew that visiting New York would help her improve her listening and speaking skills. One bright morning, Sarah arrived at the busy Penn Station in downtown Manhattan, ready to explore and learn new vocabulary. She was excited and a little nervous, but she knew this trip would be an adventure. With her small backpack and a notebook to write down new words, Sarah stepped outside the station and onto the bustling streets of New York. As soon as she looked around, she saw tall buildings, yellow taxis, and lots of people walking quickly. She took a deep breath and smiled. "Here I am in New York City," she said to herself. Sarah's first stop was a famous street called Broadway. She had read about Broadway in books, and she knew it was famous for theaters and shows. As she walked down the street, she noticed all the colorful billboards and large signs advertising different plays and musicals. She said to herself, "Broadway is famous for theaters." She wrote the word theater in her notebook and added a little note, a place where plays, musicals, and shows happen. As she continued, she noticed many people selling food from small food carts. She saw one selling hot dogs, another with pretzels, and even one with fresh juice. Sarah decided to try a classic New York hot dog. She walked up to the food cart and said, "One hot dog, please." The man smiled, gave her a hot dog, and she thanked him. While eating, she wrote down the word food cart with the note, a small cart on the street selling food. After finishing her hot dog, Sarah continued walking until she reached Times Square. Times Square was even busier than she had imagined, filled with bright lights, electronic billboards, and crowds of people taking photos and videos. She looked up at the tall screens flashing advertisements for movies, clothing brands, and events. "Wow, Times Square is so bright," she thought. She wrote billboard in her notebook, a large sign or screen that shows advertisements. Sarah was enjoying her time but was also trying to learn as much as she could. She even tried to talk with a few tourists around her. She asked one couple, "Is this your first time in New York?" They smiled and said it was, and they were just as excited as she was. It was nice for Sarah to practice her English with others who were also new to the city. To explore more of the city, Sarah decided to try the famous subway. She knew that New York's subway system was one of the largest in the world, and she wanted to experience it. She walked down the stairs to the subway station and saw a ticket machine. She looked at the instructions and said, "Let's buy a ticket." She bought a single-ride ticket and looked at the subway map on the wall. It was a bit confusing, with all the colors and lines, but she finally found her way. Inside the subway, Sarah noticed that people were busy reading, listening to music, or looking at their phones. She took a seat and observed her surroundings. She wrote down the words subway and ticket, subway, an underground train, ticket, something you buy to ride the subway or go to an event. Sarah got off the subway near Central Park, one of the most famous parks in the world. She was amazed at how big and beautiful it was, with green trees, little ponds, and people walking their dogs, jogging, and riding bicycles. As she strolled along the paths, Sarah saw an artist painting a beautiful picture of the city skyline. She stopped to watch him and said, "Your painting is beautiful." The artist smiled and thanked her. She wrote down artist, a person who creates art, like paintings or drawings. Walking further, she saw a group of musicians playing jazz music. She loved how the music sounded and wrote down the word musician in her notebook, a person who plays music. She listened to them play for a while, enjoying the relaxing sounds of the park. After Central Park, Sarah wanted to visit some stores, so she headed to Soho, a popular shopping area in New York. Soho was known for its stylish shops, boutiques, and art galleries. Sarah loved fashion, so she was excited to look at clothes and accessories in the shops. As she walked through the streets of Soho, she saw stores with big windows displaying the latest fashion trends. She went into a store and saw some beautiful scarves and hats. She picked up a scarf and thought about buying it, but decided to save her money for other things. She added the words boutique and fashion to her notebook. She wrote, boutique, a small, stylish store, fashion, popular clothing and styles. Before leaving, she stopped at a little cafe to have a coffee and rest her feet. She practiced ordering in English, saying, "I would like a coffee, please." The barista smiled and prepared her coffee. Sarah wrote down the word barista, a person who makes coffee. Sarah's next stop was Wall Street, located in the financial district. Wall Street was famous for being the center of business and finance. She had read about the New York Stock Exchange and big companies located here, so she was curious to see it in person. When she arrived, she saw tall buildings and business people in suits walking quickly, holding briefcases. It was a busy place, and everything looked serious and professional. She added the words finance and business to her notebook. Finance, the management of money; business, the activity of buying and selling goods and services. As she continued walking, she saw the famous charging bull statue. Many people were taking pictures with it, so Sarah took a picture too. She knew the statue represented strength and determination, something she wanted to have in her English learning journey. No trip to New York would be complete without visiting the Statue of Liberty. Sarah took a ferry from Battery Park to Liberty Island, where the statue stood. She was excited to see this symbol of freedom and opportunity up close. On the ferry, she looked at the city skyline and felt grateful for the chance to explore New York. When the ferry reached Liberty Island, she got off and walked toward the statue, looking up in amazement. She wrote down statue in her notebook, a large sculpture that represents a person or idea. She took several pictures and read a little about the history of the statue. She learned that it was a gift from France and represented friendship between the two countries. After her adventure at the Statue of Liberty, Sarah was hungry. She decided to visit Little Italy, a neighborhood known for its Italian restaurants and cafes. The streets were filled with the delicious smell of pizza, pasta, and freshly baked bread. Sarah went to a small Italian restaurant and ordered a plate of spaghetti. She practiced ordering again, saying, "I would like spaghetti, please." She added restaurant and spaghetti to her notebook. Restaurant, a place where you buy and eat food; spaghetti, a type of pasta. The food was delicious, and she enjoyed every bite. The restaurant had a warm and friendly atmosphere, and she loved the Italian music playing in the background. She took her time, relaxing and enjoying the food, before heading back to explore more of the city.
As the sun began to set, Sarah decided to visit the Empire State Building. She wanted to see the city lights from the top. She took the elevator up to the observation deck and was amazed by the view. From the top, she could see the entire city glowing with lights. She saw the tall buildings, the busy streets, and the shining bridges. It was beautiful, and she felt like she was in a movie. She wrote down observation deck, a high place where people can look at the view. Standing there, she thought about all the new words she had learned and how much fun she had exploring New York. As Sarah returned to her hotel that night, she felt tired but happy. She had learned so many new words and practiced speaking English in different situations. From ordering food to talking with tourists, she felt more confident in her English abilities. She sat down with her notebook and reviewed the words she had written. Theater, a place for plays and shows. Food cart, a small cart selling food. Billboard, a large sign for advertisements. Subway, an underground train. Ticket, a pass to ride the subway or attend an event. Artist, a person who creates art. Musician, a person who plays music. Boutique, a small, stylish store. Fashion, popular clothing styles. Barista, a person who makes coffee. Finance, managing money. Business, buying and selling goods or services. Statue, a large sculpture. Restaurant, a place to buy and eat food. Observation deck, a place to look at views from high up. Sarah was proud of herself. She had not only explored New York but had also improved her English. She knew that this was just the beginning of her journey to fluency, and she was excited to learn more each day. Sarah's trip to New York City was filled with new experiences, adventures, and learning. By exploring famous places like Times Square, Central Park, Wall Street, and the Empire State Building, She learned useful downtown vocabulary and practiced her English in real-life situations. Her story shows that with curiosity and practice, learning English can be both fun and rewarding. Explore New York City and expand your English vocabulary with this fun and interactive video. Join us as we walk through famous landmarks and introduce essential downtown vocabulary, perfect for beginners and intermediate learners. From Times Square to Central Park, you'll learn practical English phrases and words related to city life, including transportation, dining, shopping, and sightseeing. What you'll learn: key vocabulary for navigating downtown areas, practical phrases for ordering food, asking directions, and meeting new people, tips for improving listening and speaking skills through real-life scenarios. Whether you're preparing for a trip or just want to enhance your English, this video is designed to make learning enjoyable and practical. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more English learning videos.
Whether you're a beginner or an advanced learner, our carefully curated stories cater to all levels, making learning English enjoyable and effective. Join our community of language enthusiasts and let the magic of storytelling transform your learning experience. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Dive into Englishstorywell, where every story is a step towards mastering English.